Hey, what's up? It's your girl Nique, and you're tuned in to Nique at Night. And tonight we're going to be talking about our Kellys Transgender Child Jahh Kelly. Jahh Kelly is the child of Andrea and R. Kelly together. And today we're going to be talking about them just a little bit. I'm going to open up the phone lines to allow you guys to call in. But first, before I do that, I'm going to read this Paper Magazine article about Jahh's coming out story, what it was like to identify as a male. Jahh was born a female and identified as a male, and then now she's kind of, she's like fluid, or he's fluid. I don't know. It's I'm gonna get into it on this article or whatever. I do not like to be politically incorrect, but I already read through the article, and she says now that she identifies either as a woman or as a male, she's gender fluid. So I guess I'm safe to say she, but hey, we're going to get into it. So anyways, Paper Magazine did a write-up on R. Kelly's child, which is, like I said, the child of Andrea and R. Kelly. They did this article where they did this photo shoot spread, and Jahh Kelly talked about what it was like to identify as a male and want to go through the process of like getting hormones and, all of those things, and, feeling accepted, not feeling accepted, and things like that. So I'm going to go on over to Paper Magazine because they have this article on their site, and I'm going to bring you guys up to speed. So like I said, I do want people to call in, but I'm going to allow callers to call in after I read a little bit of the article, just to, let you guys know what is being said. Those of you guys who have been following this whole R. Kelly story, a lot of people have been wondering about the children. This child in particular, if you guys remember, there was a diss track that was released against R. Kelly from one of his children, and this child right here, who is now speaking out with Paper, is also the same child who had put out the R. Kelly diss track earlier in the year. So I can't look at the chat right now while I read this, so I'm going to now go to the article. So again, this is from Paper, and it says, "We see you, Jahh Kelly," and this was a story by Michael Love, and the photography is from a person named Christian Cody. So as Pride was wrapping up, Jahh decided to open up to Paper Magazine to talk about the struggles and everything like that. So it says, when Jahh was 14, she came out as a trans male in a video posted to her then active Ask.fm account. The announcement was prompted by a question posed anonymously. Jahh Kelly introduced herself as J. Kelly, and then it says, "I believe I am a boy and want surgery and the medication to help me be who I was supposed to be," Jahh explained. She said she knew she was trans at 6 or 7 years old and slowly started to identify with he/him pronouns. Her family was supportive, she said, and addressed her correctly. At the time, gossip sites reported that Jahh was rejected by her family, though Jahh said on Ask.fm, "My mom was like, baby, I love you if you were bi, gay, lesbian, you name it, and I would still love you so much." So it also says, following the announcement, which was reported on by a few media outlets, Jahh continued to answer questions from her Ask.fm followers. According to reports documenting the now deleted video, Jahh shared that at the time she wore a binder on her chest and wanted to begin taking hormones. So, they go into details of like stats of teens who, have to go into homelessness because a lot of families disown children who come out this way. And, they list it all like, how it could have been her outcome to resort to that. However, that was not her case. So we're going to move along. They have different photos of Jahh throughout the article of this photo shoot that they did. I don't know why the top. Hold up. Okay, so it's kind of spread off the screen here. Okay, let me shrink it down just a little bit. Okay, so that when I'm scrolling, you guys see exactly what I see. Okay. So then it says, when I, a black non-binary person, first came out at 16 as queer to my family, I too soon found myself feeling alone. And then it says, it talks about a conversation that she had with her sister. And then it goes on to say how they decided to, assure her that the interview was not going to be about R. Kelly. It was going to be about her. And they tried to assure her that they had her trust. So right here it says, we're not here to talk about her father, I assure her, and she should only say what she wants to about the online video she posted years ago to ask.fm, if anything at all. Establishing trust with a person like Jahh is important. Growing up, she moved around so often with her brother, sister, and mother that she could barely make friends. She says she didn't feel she could open up to those outside her inner circle, even with the famous family aside, secretly knowing she was queer in a world that shames LGBTQ plus people in a recipe for chronic distrust. Okay, so she said, I always felt like I had to make a choice. I knew that I was a girl who liked other girls, but because of what I was taught, I felt like the only way you could like another girl is if you were a boy. When I posted that video, I was so scared, Josh says. When I was younger, I always felt like I had to make a choice. Oh, wait, that's okay. So that's what I already read. So it says, by 14, Jahh was already someone who rejected binary female clothing, opting to wear men's clothing exclusively over dresses or high heels. The self-expression got Jahh in trouble in the world, she says, recalling a few occasions where she'd been stopped by strangers to tell her she was entering the wrong restroom. This has even happened to Jahh in ostensibly queer friendly settings. Is something she and Buku have laughed about, and I guess that is her other sister. And I try to be politically correct, but the only reason why I say her is because she also says that she identifies now as both, so, or as either. So, let's see what else I wanted to read on here. It's a part from Drea where she recalls her coming home. It talks about her wearing button-down shirts with sports bras. One time at Pride Parade in Chicago, I was with Buku and my cousin, Jahh says. My sister had to use the bathroom afterward, but she was in there a while, so I went to check on her. I kept putting my head in the bathroom just to make sure she was good, and this lady came up to me and was like, sir, if you peek your head in this woman's bathroom again, I'm going to call security. Jahh was wearing a button-down shirt with a sports bra underneath, and she opened up the shirt, and I guess she flashed the woman to, I guess, prove that she was a girl, the reason why she was looking into the girl's bathroom, because I guess a lot of people mistook her for a guy, and didn't really know like if she was a guy or a girl. So let's see. Okay, so it also says that following her online reveal at 14, Jahh fell into a deep depression, which led to a 3-week stay in a psychiatric hospital, an experience she declines to describe. After surviving that experience, Jahh says she saw herself differently. So it looks like this was a pretty deep thing going on to where she had to get psychiatric help and go to a hospital. It's like, did her parents put her in there? Did she like what? Like, I would have loved to know more about this. And especially if she's coming out and she's talking about it, if there are other people who are going through the same thing, then that might have helped them, like her story of that. But, I guess that's a personal thing she didn't want to disclose. So it says, after surviving that experience, Jahh says she saw herself differently. Today, she doesn't mind if people refer to her as male, female, gender fluid, or non-binary, a choice that's becoming increasingly common for her age group. So I guess a lot of people who are in her age group now, they're going more towards the whole, gender fluidity thing where it's like, they're either a boy or a girl. They don't want to label themselves. A lot of people are like, no labels, and they're like, I'm not gay, I'm not bi, I'm just fluid. So I guess this goes along with all of that. Down at the bottom, it says, or towards the middle for you guys, it says, I identify as a lesbian. I know I like girls, but that's as far as I'll go to label myself, Jahh says. It's up to you how you see me. Either way, I don't care. I stand in my truth. And why does my truth need a label? And again, this is a lot of this new generation now. They don't want these labels, like I said, and they don't identify. So that's why when I came to do the report, I had read this prior and I was like going back and forth saying like her, him, I don't know, it like whatever. So so she also dropped music, like I said. She dropped a diss track against R. Kelly earlier this year, and I want to open up the phone lines to know what you guys feel about this. I'll take a few calls if you guys want to call in. I just wanted to do an impromptu live because we don't really hear that much from her. Like the other daughter has been vocal on Grown Up Hip Hop and doing interviews, and we don't hear so much from Jahh. So I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on that. Let me put the call in number at the top. Okay, so there. Okay, so the call-in number to call in and give your thoughts just overall the R. Kelly situation, what you think about this, what you think about people in general coming out, whatever you want to call in and talk about. The number to call in is 605-468-8756. And then once you dial that number, you put in an access code of 284538. You dial this from your cell phone. It's 100% free. I know some people say that when they call in, it says something about, that they're going to charge you, but it won't charge you. It doesn't charge anybody. I'll put the number also in the chat as well so that you guys can copy and 318. Hello? Hello?
Hey, how you doing, Nique?
Hi, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, this is LaShonda Green Gospel.
Oh, okay. So
Louisiana. I'm calling from Louisiana.
Okay, so you made a comment in the chat and you said something along the lines that a lot of your friends who were gay were tampered with or something like that. Is that what you said?
Yeah, most of us were tampered with as children.
Are you
experience with
are you gay?
No, I'm straight, but I have actually dated a female in my lifetime. I have. So whatever they consider that, but that was so long ago. But I did try it, and it wasn't for me.
Okay.
But I'm straight, but the majority of us were tampered with by family members. And my first experience was like at 6. I think I was in kindergarten when I ran across my gay friend, and we're still friends to this day. And his uncle molested him. You know, that happened to him. And then I have another family member molested him as well. And I also have a couple female friends who have been taught by uncles and stuff like that and rape, and they rather not have a sexual experience with a man because of that. And we all probably have had to have, I know I have, had to have therapy, have had to have counseling, have had to have medication, have had to have all of that. So it sounds like this young lady, whoever she is, R. Kelly's daughter, it sounds like she has been molested to me. I think she's been tampered with.
Well, we can't say that for sure, but you're saying you think so,
I think allegedly.
Somebody in the chat said that being that you are not gay and you only tried it out, that you can't speak on behalf of gay people. That's what you said in the chat.
Well, I'm not speaking on behalf of gay people. I'm speaking on behalf of myself as an individual. We all are entitled to our own opinions. My opinion doesn't have to be your opinion. I'm not trying to be a voice for the gays, but I'm just saying, as an experience and as me having so many friends that are gay, majority of my friends are gay, they have told me their stories and they have been taught. I'm just speaking off of my experience,
Okay. And so you could go ahead and elaborate a little bit more if you want.
Oh, well, I was just calling to let y'all know that, the majority of my friends that I hang with, I've worked with people, as far as like when it comes to in the industry, music and stuff, and I've run across gay people like that. We'll build a relationship, and our connection is the fact that we have been taught as children. Now, I do have a couple of friends who have not been taught as a child and still choose to live that lifestyle. But the majority that I know and that I have come across have been molested, have been raped, and it's horror stories. They're horror stories. So, I'm speaking, and I'm also 33 years of age. So I'm a little bit older, and I've seen a lot more. So I don't have to be gay to speak on behalf of anyone, my age and the way I carry myself along, I could speak according to myself. So, in my experience.
Right.
So,
Well, I hear
to
you.
each his own, and I hope I shed some light, just a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in and giving your insight. I mean, we can only speak from our perspective, and you're saying what you think or assume. You're not passing it off as facts. You're just saying that, from your experience and from your friends, your group of friends, that is what you see amongst your circle. So it could, however, be different in other circles. So, thank you for talking to me
Absolutely.
and calling in and giving your insight on the situation.
All right. Thank you. You have a
All right.
blessed one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, for some reason, I don't know. I might switch the service of the call in, but since this is a free service and I don't go live and do call ins all the time, I just opted for a free service. But I don't know, for some reason, it doesn't, like, if your company is Metro PCS, it will not allow you to call, but everybody else is able to call. It's no shade. I'm just saying, I don't know if that is, but my cousin, she tried to call in before and she had Metro and it didn't work. So, and a couple people who had Metro, it didn't work, but everybody else is able to call in. Mayu said, she said we, so it sounded like she was speaking on behalf of the gays. Cheryl Holmes says, I'm gay and I have never been molested. I hate how the world thinks that if you gay, you've been molested by some kind. Well, if you have a chance and you can call in before I end this live, because I'll wrap it up soon. But if you call in, you said T-Mobile won't let you call in. I don't know. Okay, so the number to call in is 605-468-8756 and the access code is 284538. Let me see if there's any other Gold by Bala Boss says that their nephew was touched by a male and is gay. Thomas B says, this narrative says that homosexuality is a mental disorder brought on by trauma. Angela Sims says, I agree. I too hear a lot of gay people speak on how they were molested. Veronica says, they don't have to be touched to be gay. Sometimes it's generational curses in the family line. Amina Laz says, I was late. What's the topic about? The topic is about R. Kelly's transgender child. Jahh Kelly did a like a photo shoot spread and a magazine article on Paper magazine where they did this whole write-up, and Jahh talked about falling into depression at 14, wanting to identify as male, wanting to go through and get hormones. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, I will go back up to bring you guys up to speed real quick. So this is Andrea Kelly and R. Kelly's daughter, and it says, when Jahh was 14, she came out as a trans male in a video posted to her then active Ask.fm account. The announcement was prompted by a question posed anonymously. Jahh Kelly introduced herself as J. Kelly. And then it says below that, I believe I am a boy and want surgery and the medication to help me to be who I was supposed to be, Jahh explained. She said she knew she was trans at 6 or 7 years old and slowly started to identify with he/him pronouns. Her family was supportive, she said, and addressed her correctly at the time. Gossip sites reported that Jahh was rejected by her family, though Jahh said on Ask.fm, my mom was like, baby, you know, she's going to accept her, whatever. And then it says the statistics of, you know, people coming out and entering into homelessness. And then it says, you know, she felt alone after she came out because she's a non-binary person. Then it says, let's see, down on the article, it says, I always felt like I had to make a choice. I knew that I was a girl who liked other girls, but because of what I was taught, I felt like the only way you could like another girl is if you were a boy. And then said that when she posted that video, she was scared. Jahh says, when I was younger, I always felt like I had to make a choice. I knew that I was a girl who liked, wait. I'll keep reading the bold one. And then I go down right below it, which is the same thing. I did that already. Okay, it's annoying. Whatever. But anyway, so then later, because I had read this before coming on, later Jahh says that she is gender fluid. So you can label her a girl, a boy, whatever, you know, that she's gender fluid. She, or, you know, you could call her she, you could call her he. That doesn't bother her. But talked about the trials and the tribulations of being misgendered. How, like, going to bathrooms, people would think that she was a male when she really was a girl. Things like that. So, let's see. Where's that other part? Because I was skimming through this article. These are just more photos. So, yeah, that's what we were talking about. And I had opened up the phone lines, you know, for people to just talk and chime in because, you know, R. Kelly has one child that has been doing a lot of press with Drea Kelly. And then this child right here is the child that had did a diss track on R. Kelly. And, you know, we don't really hear from Jahh that much. So with this article with Paper, I wanted to bring the conversation to you guys and let you guys talk and discuss what you guys feel about the situation. Thor says, sick and tired of speaking as life they never lived. Okay, well, if you're tired of people speaking about it, call in and give your assertion on how you feel. Because I can't speak for a person that is gay. I can only talk about it, and then I can open up the discussion for people who identify or have more insight on the topic to call. And if you feel like people are not educated, if they don't really know what they're talking about, then that gives you the floor to then come and clarify, you know, what may be a stereotype, what may not be a stereotype, you know, and things like that. My you says, I knew I was transgender when I was very young too, but I didn't know the terminology back then, and I transitioned at 19. Okay, so my you, I wasn't aware that you were also trans. So my you would be a good person to call in as well. I do want somebody who, you know, has insight to call in. And somebody said, what is gender fluid? Gender fluid means like no labels. So like when people are like, what do you call it? Like the LGBT community is like fluid. That means that they don't have a label. They don't identify as gay, straight. So gender fluid is like not identifying as male or female. It's just like you're just fluid. So, And cishet is cisgender and heterosexual. Okay. So let's see. Jojo24 says, how do you decide if you are female or male when it comes to going to the restroom? I mean, that's a good question for a person that is trans. I don't know. And Historic Bay says, being transgender is not being gay. Being trans stems from having a condition called gender dysphoria. That's from Historic Bay in the chat. Mayu says, I think that you got the right idea, Nique. I love your mindset. Hold on. I'm thinking if I want to call in. Just call in because I'm going to end it if I don't get any callers. Like if I don't want to just read the chat all day. I like to. Regina says that she learned something today. Amina Last says, so she's transgender or not? I'm asking a question because she also says she doesn't care about being called he/she, and I thought the right pronoun was important when you are trans. Right. I don't know. 19 transgender women has been killed. 19 transgender women have been killed this year. Hello?
Hey.
Hi, 318?
Yes.
Hi, what's your name and where you calling from?
Fred from Shreveport.
Okay, you got to turn off the live in the back.
Okay. It's off.
Okay, what's your thoughts on this situation?
I have a scenario. You have a daughter, right?
Yes.
And you and your daughter is in the bathroom at some public facility. And another occupant enters the restroom. You're presuming it's a female because it's a female restroom. And on discovery, the gender of this occupant is the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel?
Well, I think for those type of scenarios, they're trying to eliminate like confusion or feeling, some type of way, because now if you go to most places, the genders are both, like, for both occupants to come into the same stall. I mean, I get what you're saying, like you kind of gonna probably feel away because it's like, you don't really, we've been taught like you're not supposed to be in here, and as a mother, being protective. So I know where you're going, but I see how, society is trying to change that by including both. I really don't know. I haven't been in that situation, so I really can't speak on what my reaction would be. How would you feel?
Well, personally, I think the gay lifestyle, which is exactly what it is, it's a lifestyle. It's mental illness, and for R. Kelly's daughter/son to, I mean, she's inherited that illness because clearly her father has it, and clearly other members in their gene pool are, I'm going to say, infected with that illness. And most transgenders are looking for a hug from the universe, but it's a big surprise to heterosexuals. So a lot of the LGBTQ community can't expect us to just accept them with open arms when the entire lifestyle that they live is something we've had an opposition with for the existence of time, actually.
Okay, so you're saying that it's a mental illness that you feel like is generational in their family?
Yes, with the Kelly family, it's clear because he has he has a domination fetish. He has
Which is
a
still alleged. It hasn't all been proven in court.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah. I'm sorry about
we're
that.
gonna
Yeah,
try to use the proper term because they be coming for what other people say on people platforms too. So, but these are your thoughts. What you
yeah,
think? Go ahead.
yeah. But I think he's having um, I don't know. It usually leads to a mental breakdown,
Okay.
and
So
and while she making diss tracks and all this other foolishness, she should be seeking psychological help because then later on here comes the spousal depression and extra sadness and all this other stuff. But while I don't know, it sounds like I hate to use this phrase, but it sounds like a little clout chasing going on.
oh
I
wow,
mean,
now you don't take it. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next person in the queue. I'm gonna leave you not muted. You're still able to talk, but I'm going to unmute 803 because I think 803 has an objective approach, or I don't know. My brain is going dead today. I don't know. I'm having a brain freeze, but
it's cool.
okay, so I'm gonna unmute 803. So 803 is Historic Bay. I think that's in the chat. Okay,
it's esoteric. It's esoteric Bay.
Oh, esoteric. Okay. Okay, so what are your thoughts?
So I'm not really here to be objective. I don't believe in being objective. Conversations are meant to be educational, so I'm here to educate. So, first of all, I want to define mental illness because sexuality nor gender identity, because that's what LGBT is. It's sexuality and gender identity. A mental illness is defined as a behavior or mental pattern that causes significant distress or impairment of a personal functioning. That's sexuality is just solely about who you have sex with, man. It's nothing about dealing with your mind. Now, when you speak in terms of being trans is not mental illness. It's not necessarily classified as a mental illness anymore, but people who are trans have something called gender dysphoria. Gender dysphoria just basically means that your mind does not connect with what your gender is, in layman's terms.
Okay, and before I have 318 respond, because 318 said it was a mental illness, I want to know what is your orientation, if you know. Esoteric.
I identify. I would identify as what people would call a trans man. So my pronouns are he, him, his. I was identified as a female at birth.
Okay.
So that would make you talk.
Your phone is going in and out, esoteric.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello?
So you were born a female and now identify as a male. So you're trans male, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And so 318 wanted to respond. So go ahead, 318. What did you want to say in response?
Yeah. Noticing your definition of you gave eloquently of what mental illness was. You said behavioral. Now, behavior characteristics of a little boy is testosterone driven, which makes little boys antsy and tough and climb trees and fall. The estrogen gene in the female is what feminizes a female. Behavior is a trait learned as a child and then taken into adolescence and adulthood. So you are learning as a little girl to want to be, quote unquote, boyish, like a boy. However, you were born in the form I personally think that you were supposed to be in. If not, you would have had the male genitalia as an infant. It's unnatural to self transform, as y'all call it. And this is just my personal opinion on it. And again, a lot of the individuals that come with the homosexual lifestyle, it translates into mental illness because number one, it's not even healthy.
Okay, so I'm gonna
And
pause
we're
you
not
right there.
gonna even
Wait.
bring up the religious.
Okay, so let's give Esoteric a chance to respond because you said a little bit. So so now let's give Esoteric. I hope I'm saying it right. A chance to respond.
Well, you can just call me Narel. My name is Narel.
Okay, not real. That's easier. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. So, Jesse Lee Patterson, you was like, being a homosexual or a bisexual causes mental illness. How? Like, it's dangerous in terms of how, because what you gonna say? STDs, like there's not STDs around in heterosexual groups. There's not physical abuse in heterosexual
that's
groups.
true.
Like there's not child molestation and rape in heterosexual groups.
You're right, but the number one contributor to the HIV and AIDS is anal sex. Hetero or homosexual. And when you can conceive that mentally, you're ill.
So you saying like people who have anal sex are mentally ill?
If you find that a favorable fetish, yes, you are. Gay, straight, whoever.
Well, what are your fetishes? Since we're talking about fetishes, I mean, that's kind of ignorant to link a STD with a particular type of sexual fetish. I mean, like, yes, we can speak in terms of, yes,
no,
okay.
Well,
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, give Nyrel a chance to respond.
Go ahead,
yes, we can say that in terms, because I'm guessing you're talking about HIV and AIDS. In terms of HIV and AIDS, yes, homosexual males do have the highest rate of HIV/AIDS. But let's look at the terms. Do homosexual males have the same access to health care as heterosexual males? Yes or no?
You trying to change the narrative to LGBT?
No, sir. I study political science. So when you talk of things like when you bring up issues, you have to look at why these issues are. So let's talk about why these issues are. Come on, let's look at it. I mean, you seem like an intelligent man. Come on, let's look at things from. You want to look at things on a microscopic level. Let's look at things on a microscopic level.
I get you.
Numbers. We can throw those numbers out.
I get you, brother. I'm not bashing or being homophobic or none of that. I'm stating the fact on. I'm gonna give it to you from a biblical standpoint. This is prophecy fulfilling itself. One of the deadly plagues is the AIDS virus. It was brought on from Sodom and Gomorrah, and the United States is the present day Sodom and Gomorrah. That is considered filth, and for participating in such activity, you are plagued with the HIV/AIDS virus at a higher frequency than the heterosexual lifestyle. Now, thanks to Hitler and the Nazis, we got syphilis and other STDs that come along with having promiscuous sex. But there's a reason why you choose a partner and you get married, and you should fill out your sexual desires with your one partner. Now, if you choose to go outside that realm and have multiple partners, there's a consequence to that. And that speaks to what you're trying to say.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut you off right there. I'm gonna let Nyrel respond to that, and then I'm gonna put you guys both on hold after Nirel responds, and then I'm gonna go to the next caller. But I want you guys to stay on the line. I don't want you guys to hang up. So hopefully, you can hang out. Okay. So Nirel, respond to that if you remember what he said, and then I'm gonna go to the next caller after that, and then come back to you.
All right. So I mean, he mentioned like 4 different Bible stories. So I'm not going. I'm gonna bring it back to the original point. I'm here to educate. That's what I was saying. So, sexuality is only about who you have sex with. It's not a lifestyle. Nobody lives their life around trying to get laid. Yes, you might do things that try to make you feel a little bit, seem more pleasing in whoever you're trying to attract, but it's not a lifestyle. Like for you to talk on a subject, no disrespect, but you have to know what that subject is first, which is why I define mental illness for you.
Okay,
so that's what I'm saying. I feel like everybody should just like research something. It doesn't hurt to read.
Right, and it definitely helps to get insight from people who are of what we're trying to learn about. Because we're all different, we all look different, talk different, walk different, and we come from different households. So even people who are of the same, sexual orientation have differences and things that we can learn from one another. So it's good to learn from each other as well. So I'm going to put you on hold real quick. I don't want you to hold out. I don't want you to hang up. I'm going to let the next person tell me what they feel, and then I'll come back. Okay? All right. 865. Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your name and where you calling from?
My name's Brittany, and I'm calling from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay, and what's your thoughts on this topic?
My thoughts on this topic is like everybody that do like get molested and everything, they don't always go gay. Like, no, I have got molested and I never went gay. And I don't have no problem, with people going gay because I have a lot of gay family members. And, like I say in this Bible, God said, come as you are. So whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do, period. Okay. So that's just how I think of it.
Okay, well, I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to go to the next caller, and then I'll unmute everybody, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay? So hold on 1 second. 318.
This is me, LaShonda Green Gospel, calling back again.
Okay, what's your thoughts?
I am outraged because how dare you, brother, tell them that them being gay is a plague of HIV. Sin is sin, because if we want to talk this Bible thing, I could talk this Bible thing because I will have my evangelist license in August. So we could talk this evangelist and this Bible thing. But okay, how dare you
tell them? I'll unmute him to respond. Hold on, okay. All right, go ahead. He's unmuted.
How dare you tell them that a plague is going to come down on them, or HIV? Sin is sin. That's just like somebody going to sleep with somebody and they unwedded and they're not married. Let's talk about it. These preachers is doing all this stuff and they still standing up on Sunday preaching and preaching about the gays and stuff, but they still committing sin. Sin is sin.
And it all out of AIDS, lady.
Sin is sin, my brother. Sin is sin. Yep. You can't sit up and make one sin look greater than the other sin. All of us have sin. And if you want to win souls, you can't tell nobody that a plague is on them. If you want to win souls, you're supposed to love them. And the Bible says, love and kindness have I drawn thee. And that's what you're supposed to do. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with their sexuality. You're supposed to still love them. And that's why the church's so short now, because of people like that. People that's judging them. Forget that. Sin is sin. We all fall short of the glory every day. None of us is perfect. So don't tell them that that's no plague.
I just said the book said it.
The book did not say that. Where did the book say that at? Being gay, they was going to have a plague. Don't you twist God's word. Don't you twist God's word.
Deuteronomy 22.
Okay, we got to
go. Where does it say being gay is a plague? It's nowhere in that Bible.
Romans chapter 1, verse 15 to 24.
It says being gay is an abomination. That's what it says. But it don't say anything about a plague coming down on them. That is what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. That is one situation. That has nothing to do with today. That has nothing to do with today. Because do we live by the Old Testament or by the New Testament since we're going to Deuteronomy? That's Old Testament.
Romans 1.
Testament.
Romans chapter 1.
Live by the Old Testament. The only thing we take out the Old Testament.
All participants are muted, and they
All
can
right.
unmute themselves.
Okay. I muted everybody for a second. Okay. I want everybody to get their opinions out. But if we're yelling over each other, we can't really hear or, get it. So I'm going to unmute you guys, but we can't yell back and forth. Okay. So, I'm going to unmute you, and, LaShonda, I know you're passionate about it. I know you are passionate about it, but we gotta, just.
I am livid.
I know. Okay,
in
but
this
we
moment.
have to. Okay, but we have to. Get our point across.
I'm not trying to offend my brother. I'm not trying to offend my brother because I love him with the love of Christ. But my brother, that's not right to say that, my brother. That's all I'm saying. I love you because I love God, and I know I got to love you. I have to love you. So, yeah, I love you, and if I offended you, I apologize, my brother. But I don't like when people say stuff like that because sin is sin. At the end of the day, none of us fall short. And if we want to draw souls, we can't continue to point out people's faults and stuff like that. We can't continue to live like that. Now, if you want to love on them, that's one thing. If you want to correct them and they ask you, that's another thing. But we have to do everything, my brother, out of love. We can't tell them no plague going to come down on them because that ain't the way to get nobody. That's just going to cause chaos.
Okay.
And if you're Christ-like, we know God is not the author of confusion. So why start it up?
All right.
All
all right. Okay, so we'll let him respond. I'll let you respond to what she said, and then I'll go to 313 because 313 just called in, and then I'll let everybody else give like a final word. So respond to what she said, and then we're gonna go to the next caller.
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't calling to ruffle any feathers. I was giving my take on the information I've collected throughout the years. I was not comparing sin. Yes, we all know sin is sin. However, my sister is clearly a Church Beyond in Christ member. I want her to take the time out and read the book of Romans, which is the New Testament, chapter 1, verse 15 through 28. And it clearly states female on female attraction is considered an abomination. Male on male attraction is considered an abomination.
Okay.
I'm not the author of the Bible. If you stand on Christ and his word, Christ's word said this. I'm not getting on here sugarcoating for nobody. I'm just quoting what I believe.
Okay, so I'm going to pause you right there.
If you don't believe that.
All right, I'm going to pause you right there. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause you right there, and then I'm going to go to 313. 313, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Kat. I'm calling from Detroit.
Hi, what's your thoughts on this situation? Or this topic overall? I don't even know how. I don't even know what, but hey.
Yeah, it just went off on a totally different tangent. But I don't know what's the guy name on the other end. But personally, I don't think you should basically say that somebody being gay is kind of like a mental illness. I don't think it's a mental illness. I think it's really just somebody else's preference. That's just like if somebody says, okay, I'm not interested in guys because of X, Y, and Z. Somebody may not be typically straight because of their own reason. But I feel like being that everybody's trying to tie in the Bible and stuff like that, I think that's very controversial because there's different religions for certain reasons, and everybody has their own interpretation of the Bible. So that's why it's kind of hard to kind of involve things like that, because honestly, the Bible is handwritten by man. And honestly, the Bible has been taken and chopped up to different interpretations, to different contexts. And it's like you can't basically say that this is what God is necessarily saying. And that's the problem with society today. Like, a lot of people kind of like take God's word and interpret it into their own way and try to force it upon other people. But I don't necessarily think that it's a mental illness, because that may be just somebody's preference. And I feel like that person shouldn't have to be judged, because I'm not straight, but I mean, I'm not gay, but I am straight. But I'm not going to bash somebody just because they feel like, you know, they're more compatible with the same sex. I feel like everybody should be able to love whoever they choose to love, and that is really not that big of a deal, because honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not going home with that person. You know, I don't feel like gay people, straight people, the LGBT community, whatever, I don't feel like they should get the shit that they do get, because these people are not offending anybody. They're not hurting anybody. And even if, you know, they're dying from whatever disease, that's nobody's business. And I just feel like it really shouldn't even be like chopped up into like such a big context and like trying to use Bible verses, because that's just like basically twisting the word of God a little bit. And God is supposed to be a loving God. And I feel like if churches were more open to people that are gay and are in the LGBT community, I feel like we wouldn't have this big of an issue, because a lot of churches are turning away from people who are in the LGBT community. And I think it's not right. You know, everybody says that God is a forgiving God and that God is a loving God, but how can you preach this when you're turning gay people away? How can you say that God, you know, loves you, and you're telling people like, oh, well, you're plagued with HIV, you know, things I think is really ignorant.
Right. So I hear you. So I'm gonna pause you for a second, and then I'm gonna go back to Nirel, who is actually a transgender male, and I want to hear from Nirel again on this topic. And Nirel has been waiting for a while. Hello, Nirel.
Yes.
Hi. Is there anything that you want to add in?
Sure. So, anyways, as I was saying, I'm actually an educator, especially on campus. I go to North Carolina Central University, which is at HBCU. We have an LGBTA center on campus. We hold state zone trainings and do programs on campus. Which is, I was just trying to tell people, explain to people what being trans was versus what being gay or lesbian or bisexual or whatever else was, and answer any questions anyone had. Do you mind if I be a famous plug? I actually have a YouTube channel where I have conversations like this.
Go ahead, plug your channel.
Cool. All right, so my channel is like T God Nirel, so TGOD space NIREL, and I'll drop a link in the chat.
Okay. All right. So if anybody wants to ask Nirel a question, I will welcome that as well. If you guys have a question for Nirel, who is trans and was born a woman and now transitioned to be a male, I want you guys you can even drop a question in the chat. In the meantime, if you guys have a question for Nirel, I'm going to put Nirel on pause one more time, and then I'm going to go to the next caller to see what they think about this topic, okay? Is that cool with you, Nirel?
Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay. 334. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Eva Hudson. I'm calling from Linden, Alabama. And I'm like the man that was talking about the scripture. Now, the Bible tells us, he tells us in the Old Testament that we don't supposed to sleep with our own kind because it is an abomination. He tells us in the New Testament that those people that do that are those people that would not have him to rule over them, so he turned them over to those spirits. And it is a spirit because none of us are born like that. We're born in an innocent state. We're created in shaped in iniquity and sin that our parents conceive of, but we ourselves are innocent because we have no knowledge of good or evil. That's when sin enters in, okay? And over in the New Testament, it tells you that these people are given over to their spirit, that the women become lovers of themselves and the men also lose that natural use for a woman. and they become lovers of themselves. That's because they didn't want God to rule over them. Now, the Old Testament, the lady was asking about the Bible. What do we live under? We live under the New. We live under the Spirit of God now, because the New Testament, it establishes the Old Testament if she really understood it. That all the things they talk about in the Old Testament, that's what Jesus came by His Spirit, and He put it in us. That's what we live by. Now,
okay,
I'm like, man.
So you agree with the first caller who said that it was along the lines of being a mental illness, is what you're saying?
No, ma'am. It's not mental. It's not mental illness at all. It is a spirit that's taken over people. It is an evil spirit. And the problem with people is that we as people, regardless of race, we want to accept everything. We want everybody to feel comfortable because that's what they want to do. But we can't, because when you teach people to do stuff that's against the Bible, you're going to give an account of it on the day of judgment. I have people in my family that are homosexual. I still don't teach against the Bible just because they're homosexual. I know a spirit has taken them over. They grew up in the church. They know a spirit has taken them over. And it does bother me when people tell young children that it's okay to be gay, when they tell the men that was born male that are, when they decide to remove their sex organs, that they're this beautiful black woman, because they're not, because God still created them male, and what He created, He's never going to change. That's just what we as people do. And there's individuals that was born female, who I don't know how they plan to become a male, wearing the hair, taking whatever they're going to take. They're still going to be a woman in the eyes of God. And anything that they do that's against the Scripture, that's myself included, we're going to give account of it in their judgment. And you cannot teach people that it's okay to do wrong, do against the Scripture. You can tell them, look, and if she was talking about the church, the Bible tells us to come as we are. But once we come and you hear the word of God, you're supposed to change by the word. You're not supposed to stay the same. I can't stay the same. I couldn't.
Okay, so I unmuted 318 to see if she has a response to what you said.
Okay. Most definitely. Now, what she said is 100% true according to the Bible. What I am saying is, it is a spirit. That is true. But what I am saying is this. That's not the way to draw the souls, because when they are babies, you can't come across bashing them for their sins at the end. I mean, because so many churches, especially black churches, are so guilty on focusing on homosexuality, but they don't preach about adultery. They don't preach about fornication. They don't preach about stealing. They don't tell the truth on tithes and offering. They don't tell the truth on a bunch of stuff, so they skip over a lot of stuff and just magnify the gay as if it's 10 times worse than the sin that they do in the eyes of God. Okay, and that's not the case.
Nirel is also unmuted at this time, too.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I don't think y'all want to hear my opinion on religion, and especially damn sure not the black church. I think it's best for me just to not say that now.
Well, everybody's giving their opinion. I would definitely love to hear your opinion on it, since everybody is, being vocal. Go ahead and give your opinion on what you feel.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it a buck. If anybody coming to me like about with any religion, whether it be Islam, Judaism, especially Christianity, like, yeah, I'm keeping it 100 with you. Like, you're wasting your breath. Like, it's no point. Like, you're wasting your breath. And where I'm at in my spiritual journey, I've already gotten off that plantation. I'm beyond that one. And with any scripture or anything about that and any sin, I'm good. I don't walk by his faith. I walk by my faith. I'm good now. So, yeah.
Okay.
I think and not even let's talk biblical stuff aside. I think that as black people, which I'm assuming that everyone on this line right now is black, I think that biblical beliefs aside, that when you just look at the impact that the black church has had on us, why are we still preaching to this? I'm beyond that.
Okay, 318 is unmuted.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, and then I also have a newcomer onto the chat, 919. Everyone is unmuted at this point. So 919 just joined in. If you want to hop on.
I want to know, is brother pre or post op?
Chat 919. Everyone is unmuted at
That's to you.
919, you got to cut off the live in the background. And 318, are you asking Nirel if Nirel has gone through the surgery? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's the other guy.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Am I muted?
No, everybody, nobody is muted. Everybody can talk.
Okay.
Just don't talk over anybody. But go ahead.
All right, so let's set boundaries. So for one, that's not something that you just come off and ask a stranger. That's like me asking you, hey, how big is your dick? Like, you see what I'm saying? You just don't go around asking strangers. I get the curiosity and I understand why you asked it, but you still
you got to be on one side of the fence, brother. Are you attached or not?
Like, do you understand? Hold on. Do you understand the principle of what I just said? You have no authority to be asking me that. Who are you?
So it's safe to assume that you're still attached. So you're not fully transformed.
Well, Nirel was born a female. 318. He was.
First of all,
I'm sorry.
That's not me. That's 91 whoever.
I'm going to answer your question. So
I'm trying to learn. I'm not bashing you, by the way, brother. I'm trying to learn.
I know you're not bashing me, but I want you to understand you have no authority to. Do you understand that you have no authority to ask me that question?
You on a public forum. We're having dialogue.
I understand what he's saying.
With you, brother.
I understand what he's saying.
He put his life out there. He's going to make this stand. So,
to the people, okay, because one of the things here that they think that because anyways. I want to know what
Let's still be respectful, guys. Don't everybody.
They don't have to answer that if she don't want to.
Don't bully Nirel. I don't want Nirel to feel bullied.
That's how I feel about it. I'm not gonna pressure anybody.
Bottom wise, yes.
I take all Kelly off.
Okay. I'm pretty out bottom wise, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm letting you know. You have no authority to ask anyone that question about anyone's private parts. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm not testing you. You don't want to answer. I get it, okay? Next question.
I already answered it. I just answered it.
And can I also speak about elaborate more on the spirit, what the girl was talking about? Everything has a spirit. From music, from the stuff we watch, from everything. As long as it enters your mind gate and your ear gate, it has a spirit. So, I just don't want nobody focusing on one thing. Love people for who they are and respect them for who they are. If you don't want to disclose that information, respect it. It don't have to be a big debate.
May I respond to you?
It.
I'm not. I agree with you. If he doesn't want to say what he is, which he's already said it because he totally was born a woman, that has already been disclosed. He has to keep in mind what he's saying. The spirit. I love people, but you also got to tell people that spirit, because sometimes we don't understand all things. When we're young, we teach our children things because they don't understand. Well, if you're never taught right, then it's understandable that you will go wrong. And you have to tell the people that it's a spirit that has taken them over so that they can pray to God, whatever God, actually that's only one God, that Jehovah, but they can pray to God that he casts the spirit out. Because if they thinking that that's just their way and they're born that way, they're never going to change because their mindset is always set that this is just something wrong with me. It's not always something wrong with you. It just means you didn't know. And because you don't know, then once God opened your eyes up to, hey, baby, you didn't know, but I can change this thing. You're supposed to seek him to change it. That's all of us, whether we lying, stealing, whatever foolish we doing. Once we realize and we're taught, even as we're young, that that's wrong, that's when we get knowledge of sin, and that's when we have to start asking God, God, forgive me for this, God, forgive me for that. If something's coming towards you that you know not right, Lord, protect me from this, Lord, take this from me.
Okay, 203 has entered into the conversation as well. And nobody is on mute. Everybody could talk, but go ahead.
Okay, so let me, because everyone's speaking about like the Bible, so let's talk about what I know. Because y'all speaking like I don't know. Like I'm from.
You sound atheist.
Like I'm born and raised in the South. Like I still go to school, and I go to a black school. where they pray at every. I would. You can Google Victory Christian Center if you want to. The Holy Ghost still baptized. All that I know about it. I know about it. I see it with my own eyes. But as for me, and for what I know, what I believe, like y'all keep saying this and repeating about it. So do you want to be educated on what being trans is, or do y'all want to keep talking about the Bible? Because if you want to know about what being trans is, I can answer that for you. But I keep y'all beating a dead horse. Like, with all due respect. With all due respect.
I agree.
Okay, so 203. Okay, so let 203 just enter the chat. 203, what is it that you want to say?
Hi, Nique. I wanted to.
You gotta cut off the live in the back.
Okay, sorry. Okay, is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to address two things. First thing is when a gentleman who is a political science major, when he began to speak on the political and social reasons of why certain things are, in society, it behooves me why mostly black people always take it back to religion instead of addressing the actual issues that's out there plaguing our community. So I wish we would pay more attention as to the why and try to correct the issue, as opposed to saying, well, the Bible says, and the Bible, like, to me, that's a lazy excuse of not addressing it and figuring out. Not to say that being gay, transsexual is an issue, but I'm saying there's a lot of other issues, like why is HIV so prevalent, especially among black women, even gay males. Like, let's address that issue and fix it. If it's a healthcare issue, then let's fight for more healthcare.
I think Nirel has the background going on.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was in my CBD store. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then as the topic of abomination, well, HIV is an abomination if being gay is an abomination that caused HIV to be prevalent among gays, then let's look at other issues. We can't just always point the finger at somebody who's gay or transsexual. What about premarital sex? The abomination for premarital sex is, look how our children are running wild out in the street because they don't have a two-parent home. Because mama is at work all the time, and by the time she get home, or daddy, whomever, is the single parent, you got different brothers and sisters placed here and there, and, the financial aspect of it is, if a man has 2 or 3 households that he's sending money to, our kids are not financially going to be supported, nor are they going to be properly raised. So we can't always keep pointing the finger at gays and lesbians. We need to start really looking into some other issues. And let's stop being lazy and not addressing the issue and then take it to the Bible. What God said, well, we know what God said, but what are we going to do? God gave us common sense, and he gave us authority to fight for ourselves and our children. So, sorry, that's what I to say.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. I'm going to wrap it up there. Everybody pretty much said how they felt. Everybody kind of went back and forth on the topic and gave, their opinions from different viewpoints and things like that. So I guess I'll wrap it up there. Thank you for everybody who called in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And Nirel, you could leave your YouTube in the chat if you want to let people know where to find you. I do not mind. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
All participants are unmuted. All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
Okay. All right, so this topic was about R. Kelly's trans child. R. Kelly has a child by the name of Jahh Kelly, who is trans or identified as trans at one point, and then decided to be more gender fluid and identify as whatever, whether it be girl or guy. Paper magazine did a write-up on Jahh Kelly, and that's kind of how this topic got going. I know there were a lot of people and they're like, wait, what's going on? You know, you guys are kind of confused, but you know, the topic kind of took a turn. But, you know, I think that sometimes it's important to see different viewpoints on different topics that we're not used to approaching or speaking about, because everybody feels differently. Somebody feels, you know, it's the Bible's way that says this, and then another person may feel like, hey, the Bible is written by a man, and how can you just go by that? Like, and, you know, we are imperfect people, and so on and so forth. So if you guys entered into the chat late, definitely restart this from the beginning. I will, you know, I read through the Paper magazine article on Jahh Kelly, who again is the child of R. Kelly and Andrea Kelly. And I read about how Jahh had, you know, this deep depression because of it, and how Jahh had to go into a psychiatric hospital and was going through a lot of things, like feeling alone, feeling like, you know, nobody was there and things like that. So I just wanted to bring this discussion. I did not know that it would, you know, go to where it went, but, you know, I wanted to hear from you guys. So, all right, guys, that is all for this video. Thank you guys for being patient and calling in. I do so appreciate it. And if you guys did not make the live chat, I want to know what you guys think down below. I'm sure there has probably been stuff that triggered you before